Hey everyone, it's Louisa here. It is Monday and it's the last week of June. It's Monday, June 23rd. Like, where does the time go? I took a trade this morning, but not what you might think. But I ended up taking 142 points out of the market, or a 7 RR. So I want to take you through that trade. I had to flex my patience muscle to remain in the trade, but the trade was taken with a higher time framework in mind. So with that said, let's run through the trade. So if you guys can see my screen, I'll make it as large as I can. This is on the higher time frame. This is the daily time frame on NQ. Okay, so what I was looking at this weekend when I did my analysis was I was looking at this candle here, and I marked out the 50% of that wick. So if you look at the length of this wick, see if I can take that off. No. So the 50% of this wick was an area of interest for me. I thought if price could come up to here, then we might have a reversal. Also note that we are inside a daily SIBI, and I have my quadrants marked off as per ICT's suggestion. And also what's inside this SIBI is an hourly SIBI. And once we move to the hourly time frame, you'll see that as well. So this area here was an area of interest for me. I went into the day primarily with a bearish perspective, but I'm never married to my my bias. My puppy is here. Okay, fella. So let's just jump down to the 4 hour. So you can see that on the higher time frame, price has been dropping down, and so that's why I had a bearish time frame perspective. And so on the 4 hour, you can see that we've been in a buy model, and then on June the 11th, price peaked at its highest, and since then we've been making lower lows and lower highs. That's why I was feeling bearish this morning. Okay, so let's drop down to the 15-minute. And this morning we had 10 a.m. news, and that was, let's just quickly take a look. 10 a.m. news, which was flash manufacturing. Manufacturing was forecasted 51.1 and came in higher. And so initially we did see price move up this morning. So let's just take a look here on the 15-minute. And here is our midnight. Let's just put our 9:30 open here. There we go. That's our 9:30 open. Asia ranged last night, and then we saw a jump up in London. So London came up into, and here's our 1 hour SIBI. So this is our 1 hour SIBI, which is nestled inside our daily SIBI. Okay, so price came up into the hourly SIBI and then dropped off. If I had been awake at this time, I probably would have taken a short, or I'd like to think I would take a short anyway. So price dropped and then started to climb incrementally into the open of New York AM. But if you notice, London never swept Asia low. So this was an area of interest for me as well today. And still remains so, because I think, well, I'm not going to tell you what I think is going to happen this afternoon, but I don't want to bias anybody. So if we move down to the 2-minute now, when price opened this morning, it really made this beautiful Venom model, which ICT teaches. And so we had a move down, we had a wick, and then price moved up with a change in the state of delivery. We had a balanced price range. So we have a fair value gap on this leg, and we have a fair value gap on this leg. Now that would be an entry for me. That's an entry model for me. However, because we had 10 a.m. news, I decided not to take that trade. I decided to wait And I paired that with my higher time frame bias, which was bearish. So congratulations to anyone who took this move, because this was a nice move up if you took it. And if you noticed, price came right back into the hourly CIBI and then proceeded to accumulate for a little while. Now here is the 50% of that daily wick. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So this was 50% of the daily wick that we had talked about. And so I was anticipating that price could move up to that wick and then potentially reject. And that's what I based my analysis or framework on this morning. So when price moved up, we chopped around for a little bit, and when we got this candle here, move this out of the way, this high candle wick here, price moved down with a change in the state of delivery. Okay, so here's the change in the state of delivery. Now this is on the 2 minutes, but there was also an earlier change on the state of delivery on the 1 minute, which is why you see me with the change in the state of delivery here. Pair that with an breaker block. So let's just put the breaker on here for you guys. So we've got high, we've got a low, we got a higher high, and we have a lower low. So we've got a breaker block, we've got a change in the state of delivery, we have reached the top of this hourly CIBI, and we are very close, just below the 50% of the wick on the on that daily candle. So with all of those confluences, I entered short. I'm going to show you where I entered. Oops. I entered here, right here at 21,981. That's 21,981. Now, this was not a great entry. So price came down and then came back up into the breaker block. And if I'm being honest, this would have been a much better entry here. So I should have put in my order maybe 50% and above on this CIBI. But anyway, you know what? It's never going to be perfect, right? Now, notice that we have a balanced price range because we have a BISI on this leg coming up. And then we had this little drawdown here, and then we have a fair value gap here. So I considered that to be a confluence that I'm looking for. So we have just going to write this all down. First of all, we swap liquidity. In a higher time frame PDArray. And that was the 1 hour CIBI. Number two, we had a balanced price range because we had two fair value gaps on opposing legs. 3, we had a bearish breaker block. 4, I'm going to add in here the confluence of the daily 50% of the wick, of that candle wick. 5, we went short. I'm going to say higher time frame bias short. And then 6, where are we going to target our take profit? Well, here was my thinking. Almost the entire evening, starting with Asia and London, we have been above midnight. So where's our midnight here? Right here, 2-day open, that is midnight. My 2-day open is when market opens at midnight. And price has been basically So this is our midnight candle here. So if you look down here at the time, so here's midnight. So basically we have been, and here's our true day open, we have been trading above midnight since Asia opened last night. Now if you guys have been following me, you know that I take my midnight and my my midnight horizontal and vertical line, because we rarely trade either exclusively above or below midnight on any given day. So my premise is always I want a short above midnight and I want a long below midnight. And the further into premium that I can possibly be, that's going to give me the greatest RR. Okay, so if we take a look, we just use this scan box here and we take a look at where the high of that wick was down to London, you can see that I am in the very top quadrant in a premium level, and that's going to give me the highest RR, which it did because it was a 7 RR. So I entered the trade. Next time, you know, maybe I'll get my entry here. But let's bear in mind that when you're going to take 100 or 150 points out of the market, you know, the question is, do you need to be the first one in the trade? No. Do you need to hang on to the trade and be the last one out of the trade? No. So it's kind of like being too early to a party and staying too late at the party when everyone is drunk, right? So anyway, what tried my patience here was that it was just a grind down. Now, I had anticipated that price might come down to sweep Asia low, because remember, as of this point, we have not swept Asia low yet. And then let me go back up into the little bit of a higher time frame here. So here's Asia, this blue line down here. This is Asia. Now, we have not swept Asia yet, and look what's below Asia. We have this sell side. This is on the 4 hour, so it's a high time frame. And it's an area of great interest that price has been to many times. So although the time right now is 127, we can see that price has come almost all the way back up, but I'm going to say that we might see price come down and sweep Asia. Now, if we don't sweep that this afternoon, some point this week, we're going to come down and sweep it. And I think it might be sooner than later. Bearing in mind, of course, that we have all this, you know, crazy, sad war news. I say sad because so many innocent people are being hurt. So anyway, I wanted to share that. So all in all, came to 142 points. It was 142 points, and that was a 7 RR. And I just want to show you where I put my stop loss. So let's just go back to the 2 minute. Now, I didn't put my stop loss right at the very top of that wick. I was playing it a little more safe. I put my stop loss, I think, at the 50% of this wick here. This is where my stop loss was. In a perfect world, honestly, in a perfect world, you'd probably want to put a stop loss like a little bit above this high wick here. But I was feeling pretty good about this trade, so I think my stop loss was here, especially with the breaker. And yeah, so anyway, that was the trade. Price came down, a little bit of patience, and took profit just below the first presented fair value gap. So please, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and help me grow my channel and reach more people. If you gain anything from these trade reviews, I'd really appreciate that. And I want to thank you always for sharing your trades with me and your tips and tricks, because that's how we learn from each other. And goodness knows, I've learned from many, many, many traders here on YouTube. And I may not say this often enough, but I thank all the traders who show up and take the time and put their trades online, because I personally have benefited from so many of them. So I'm just trying to reciprocate and share within the community. So anyway, have a peaceful evening. It's Monday. Let's crack at it this week. Let's see what we can do strategically and with temperament, good patience, and allowing the trades to come to us. All right, guys. Have a great evening. Bye for now.